Hey Simon, how can we double revenue in 90 days? All these people say that they did a strategy sprint, they doubled revenue, one of them quadrupled. How can we do it if we cannot afford a sprint coach 24/7? So how can we do it? Can you share parts of it with us? Yes, I'm happy to share them. Let's go. I will share three things. One is one of the tools that we use is called the evolution card, and we use it with every client and we use it ourselves in our monthly habit. And so I'm going to share that with you and how you can use it. The second thing is we are going through a real case, a case that everybody knows. It's Elon Musk's Tesla company. And I will show you the evolution card of Tesla, and then we will take that as a blueprint of how you can create your own process. Not the content, of course, because you are not Elon Musk. There is only one Elon, right? But the process for creating the plan and executing the plan is the same for all of us. In all our differences, we have the same problem to solve. And the problem is define what is the right thing to do, strategy, and define what's the right way for us to do it right now, sprint. Okay? These are the two things. They are old. The mentor of my mentor already talked about these things. The mentor of my mentor is Peter Drucker, and he would say, what's the right thing to do? Efficacy. How do we do it the right way? Efficiency. So there is effectiveness and there is efficiency. These are the two questions. And the strategy sprint is just a operationalized way, a refined way of doing it that saves you a ton of time. But it's about these two things. What's the right thing to do and how do we do it the right way? You have to define that with your team, and I will give you the blueprints right now to do it. So let's go. So how do you define what's the right thing to do and how do you start executing on it in sprints? I will share this that we use in our monthly meeting. As you know, we have a daily habit, weekly habit, and monthly habit. Daily habit is about time allocation. Weekly habit is about getting all the numbers in a real-time dashboard. Marketing numbers, sales numbers, operations numbers. And the monthly habit is about checking the big picture. Are we going in the right direction at the right pace? What is competition doing? Now, I will show you how to use this, which we call the evolution card. Why not revolution? Because it's a gradual surfing the S-curve. What is an S-curve? Every market and also every life evolves in an S-curve. This is an S-curve example. You don't know exactly when it starts, but you feel when it starts, and at some point it declines and vanishes. The reason why I like this idea of S-curves, so they're not always perfect S's, but they always have 4 stages: start, service, product, and commodity. So the S-curve is called that way because it looks like an S. And every life, right? If you think of yourself, your first 5 years, and then your next 5 years, and your next 5 years, and your next 5 years, that's kind of how it looks like. Your body stops growing at some point. Your body didn't grow like that. Your hand is not just continuing to grow. It stopped growing at around, 17 years, right, of age. So the reason why I like this is because there is none of these linear, very elusive models that think that things grow in a linear fashion. They don't. It's more of an S-curve. So let's go through an example of an S-curve, right? If you hear this for the first time, in the beginning, let's say you're in front of you, they're building a house. And so for weeks and months, you pass by there and say, my God, there's nothing going on here. Oof, is this boring? Just one more brick, some wood that they bring here, some stones, one more brick. That's boring. And at some point, you pass by the same thing and go, my goodness, 6-store building here? Where does this come from? Because the start phase is really boring. You don't see much happening from the outside. And then when you see it, whoosh, it's already quite high. And then this is the stage where they have to become really strategic and start managing in a different way, because now it's mature. And from here, it will not grow up. From here, it will gradually cool down, either strongly or a middle scenario or a high scenario. But from here, it goes down. Nothing grows here forever. Nothing, not even Bitcoin. So this is influenced by network effects. We have some videos how to calculate network effects and how you see them, but the most important inflection points are here, and I'm going to share with you how to manage those inflection points. Because in the end, your business will have some form of an S shape and overall, and in the next recursion level below, there is also an S formation, like a wave formation in each one of those. But I will keep it simple for this video with an example that you all know. Let's say Elon Musk, right? Let's do it for Elon Musk and then for us. So Elon Musk had a plan, 2016. I was following Elon Musk in 2016 already and invested in Tesla, which has turned out to be a great idea. And the master plan, he calls them master plans. He always goes for very big, ambitious, and very clear and tangible and measurable goals, which I like about him. That's why he's a sprinter. He's an executor. And his goal one was to build a sports car so that then he can reuse those profits to build a more affordable car. Because the purpose was always the transition to a smarter energy, to a renewable energy world. Step 3 was done to create even a more affordable car. Step 4 was to go from an affordable car to zero emissions affordable car. And stage 5 of his goals were that this car that you own makes you money while you don't use it. So it's affordable to purchase. It creates zero emissions, so it's saving the planet. And from the stupidity of the other mobility systems that we had. And then not only that, but while you don't use it, and that's most of the time, it makes money for you. So this was the 5 steps plan that he had. And he started breaking it down, putting it into the execution plans. And all of them have a product, if you want. The product is not so important. Most people focus too much on the product, on the cars, etc. You shouldn't. In strategy, you should focus on the client's problem. So what does the world need? And what's your superpower? How can you solve that? And that's exactly what Elon does, and then the product comes second. So first product was the Roadster to answer the question, how can I build a sports car that creates money so I can start doing the full-fledged purpose here. And then he used that money from the Roadster to build the Model S and Model X, first affordable car. He used that money to build Model 3 and Model Y, next affordable car. He used that to build then zero emissions, solar roofs, power walls, and then he used that profit to build Robotaxi and FSD, which is currently doing. And you need the full driving technology and the safety in there, which is still in progress, to roll out the Robotaxi things. And then he has one more, which you saw this year, 2016. It was not there yet, but if you look at all the gigafactories, he has not only created the Gigafactory, but also the robots that will create all other factories. So in theory, when BMW wants to build a factory, they might just call the robots of Elon. That's how you create a long-term plan, right? In one example. So how can you do it? You do the same thing, right? You start with what's your purpose. You define it. For example, our purpose is to light up 1 million people by having them run businesses that are so easy to run and so enjoyable that they enjoy already their life right now, right here, not later on when they've made it or later on when they've sold it, but right now. That's the purpose. And when you have that, you start creating your packages, your deliverables, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they can go on 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Then you pick one of them and that becomes your next 90 years goal to execute it, to deliver it, to build it and to ship it, right? This is how you start. And then if we go now into the nitty-gritty, this is the reason, for example, why I sold Apple over the last 10 years, the stock. I sold Apple, but I've always invested in Tesla, always bought more Tesla. I've also sold some Tesla I do some swing trades, but I want to hold Tesla and be part of Tesla as a shareholder. And I don't want to be a shareholder in Apple, which of course is an amazing company and will do well. There's no doubt about that. But let me show you here, as an investor, what I would look at. And this is also important in strategy. If you are the CEO, the business owner, the founder, that's one hat, it's one role. But you have also to look at your business from the perspective of an owner, which is different than the operator. The CEO is one role, it's the person who has to run it and to grow it. But the owner is another role, right? The owner is just looking at scalability and worth, valuation over time, right? Sellability, resilience, compound growth rate. This is what you look at as an investor. So if we look at Tesla and maybe we compare it to Apple, this is what we see. So what is in Start? They have many things in Start, which they are right now working on the full driving technology because that's needed for robotaxi, and we know now why, right? They are working on the robotaxi network and the technology, and they're working on humanoid robots and robots that create cars, but also robots that create the car manufacturing factories, the gigafactories. But that's all very new, very emergent. It's a startup. It's not ready yet. They're working on it. There are prototypes. Some prototypes are working better than others. There are many things to solve. The legal situation of the safety of the self-driving car is not solved in most countries. So many things are unsolved, right? The robots are not perfectly working yet. So there are many things to solve there, which makes it exactly in the starting stage of things. But at the same time, they have also the Cybertruck, which was kind of a fun thing in between. I don't think it's really important, but I know there are many perspectives out there. And that it works. There is a prototype, you can buy it, you can drive it. And there are Cybertrucks and self-driving trucks, etc. And that's a thing, and that's a little bit more mature because it's ready there. And then there are very mature things that they have already in product stage, which is the roof, the Powerwall, the Model Y. And then there are very mature things who are already there, but they are not the future. They are more kind of like the past. You can still extract some money from there, but you manage those 4 things very differently. You will find some description here on exactly how to manage those things, but I don't want to bore you. These are checklists for our clients so that they know always where their products are. But basically, when you have things in the commodity stage, like the Roadster, Model S, Model 3, and the solar, this is where you just focus on cost management, risk management, cost management, risk management, cost management. You try not to have high costs, so reduce costs, extract some percentages of profits as much as you can, but that's not the future. The profits that you make here, you reinvest them at the very beginning, you reinvest them here. This part costs you money, let's make it a minus, and this part brings the money. And the game is to balance this whole thing. So you have parts that are already profitable right now, they're making you money. This is where you extract money and you reinvest it into this part. And when you have both, you have the part that makes you money and the part that you will reinvest money in. You are basically your own VC, right? You are investing in your own business growth. And so you're putting capital to work, but it's losing for the next months and years because it takes time for it to go into profitable and scalable mode. So that's why you always have these two things to do at once as a CEO. You have to care about making money, but also reinvesting that in the future you will be making money. So you have to cannibalize yourself before your competition does it. And that's pretty tricky. Many CEOs never get into that mindset of, destroying your own business before your competitor can destroy it, because then you will be dominating it in 5 years. So it's a mindset thing. And even those who get it and who do it, sometimes they fail. Many of those businesses fail because it's not easy to do. You have to be very good in timing, in cost management, in risk management, and in innovation, right? So it's tough to do, but it's what you have to do as a business owner. So this is how you can do it. If you run a business, go to strategysprints.com/tools, download the evolution card and start using it. The link is below. You can grab it and start putting in here which products do you have where. So Apple, in comparison, why do I not invest in Apple, even if I love Apple products? And I'm using right now here 4 Apple devices right now here on my desk as we speak. So I love Apple products, but they have nothing here and nothing here. All they have is here, right? They are the absolute winner on the iPhone. And yes, they have some great Macs. But come on, what's next? Some people say, the Apple car. Where is it? I don't see anything about that. So I don't see anything future relevant. So it's a nice cash cow, but it's not a hyper growth stock. So I'm out, basically. If I was into boring, safe dividend stocks, I would grab them. But there are better right now, energy stocks and commodity dividend stocks, if you wanna have a safe high growth place. So, because it's still tech, so it's not safe. And if it's not safe and not high growth, why would an investor wanna have it? It's either safe and has a medium growth, or it is risky, but then I want hyper growth. I want at least a 3x, 5x in the next 24 months. So that's not Apple. It is Tesla. And why? Because of that. So what can you do with your business? You start with defining your purpose, then your plan, and then your evolution card. First, purpose. What are you here to do? Remember Tesla? Accelerate the transition into renewable energies. Then you create your plan, which is your goals moving forward. And then you start executing on them. And when you do those goals, you can use here the evolution card to track if you are balanced, because you want to have balance. You want to have something here that is creating money, and you want to redistribute this money, the profits of that part. That's why it's just $1 symbol and not 2, because here is where you make a ton of money, and the profits you reinvest into your newer things. They will be your cash cows in a couple years. You don't do that, you are not relevant in a couple of years. What should you focus on? What should you not focus on? So which parts should never change? Which part should be dynamic and change? You should never change who you are here to serve, what your purpose is. So never change, I'm here to, the purpose, transition into more regenerative energy sources. And so that when you add stuff on top of it, like space exploration, Wi-Fi for the world, Starlink, etc., they all fit your purpose. And we didn't talk about them because we were just focusing on Tesla. The SIF, System in Focus, was just Tesla. But everything else he does is always aligned with this purpose. And then you go through your goals. The goals, yes, you change them. What you don't change, who you are here to serve, what's your purpose, and what problem do they have? What's the main problem that they have, so that you still are the trusted problem solver for that problem, for that population. And then in the execution part, this is where you change things all the time. Every week you have to be ready to change, to pivot, to change products, change services, change software, change CRM, change supplier, change the bank, change whatever you want, as much as needed, as quickly as possible. But you never change purpose and goals. Purpose and goals, purpose and goals, because that's tied to the people you are here to serve and their main problem. And their main problem does not change every 10 years. Because if it's really their main problem, like transition from stupid energy to smart energy, transition to from being stressed to having time, these are eternal things. Transition from being broke to being wealthy, these are eternal things. You focus on the people who you're here to serve. You create those goals along their main problems to solve, as we saw in the case of Tesla. That's the part you never change. And then the execution you change all the time. And then opportunities rise up, you start buying Twitter or whatever you want, if they're aligned. So you change quickly when opportunities come up, but you never change purpose and long-term focusing on the one big problem that people have that you are here to serve. Hope that helps. Keep rolling, everybody.
Hey, if you love what you are hearing, you will love our free masterclasses. Go grab them at strategysprints.com.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it, leave us a review. For more information, head over to strategysprints.com.